Biden can't even read the teleprompter. The other day, he's given a news conference because he hasn't had one in about 6 years or something. So he picks up, hey guys, Bill from NBC. So the guy asks him a very simple question, like about vanilla ice cream. So he goes, oh, thank you very much for the news conference. Thank you. And then he walks into a wall.
See, President Trump, he stays up all night. He's got time to watch cable television. Unlike news anchors and reporters at the Washington Post, who obviously have no idea what's going on out there. It's important as Democrats to, posing as journalists, to not know what's going on. Just in case you're ever under oath and being asked questions about this, it's about plausible deniability, Well, happy Monday, and welcome to all of you. I hope that you were able to sustain the wrath of the snowmageddon that we experienced over the weekend, where Washington, D.C. was brought to its knees by early and inaccurate reports of a possible dusting of snow, which never materialized, but never mind that. It's never too early to panic, as people in Washington like to say, and people panic. You couldn't find milk or toilet paper in the grocery stores because there was a news report that we might get a dusting of snow. And then it was the snowmageddon that wasn't. And they love snowmageddon because everything has to be apocalyptic, like the weather. The earth is on fire and we're all going to die soon. And then when it gets cold, they say, see, this is climate change. No, this is winter in the Northeast, but never mind that. So we didn't get any snow in Washington, D.C. Outside of Washington, D.C., do you get snow, Michael? Yeah, Michael got a little dusting of snow. Did you go out and play with your son and see, you go out and have fun because it's snowing and it's nice. Everybody likes snow, except for people that call themselves liberals because they're in a constant panic about, well, everything from the weather to their gender, their own sexual preference. Can you say sexual preference? I think that's been banned, right? Their own sexual orientation. Is that what it is now? Orientation rather than press. But isn't orientation a slur against people from the Orient? Because you can't say Oriental rugs, right? You can't say. So why would you say oriented? I just don't know. They're very confused people. Extraordinary stuff. We have lots and lots of news for you because we just had 2 days off. There was a weekend. We stayed fairly close to home this weekend, I got to admit. It rained all day from, we get up at whatever. I think we got up at 6 a.m. on Saturday, and it was already raining. And then it rained all through the night. And we stayed home and had 3 fun meals, and we watched a couple of movies and had a great time. Yesterday was Sunday. That follows Saturday normally. And we went out to a sports bar with friends, and we had a nice time. It was nice. It stopped raining. And the terror was over, the snowmageddon, the blizzard of 24. That's what they're calling it now, right? The blizzard of 24. It was quite terrifying. But we had a very nice time, my best girl and I. We had fun. We laughed. We cried. It moved us. We didn't cry. Nothing moved us. It was a great time. It was wonderful because it was kind of slow, and that doesn't happen very often. Now, speaking of kind of slow, Joe Biden is still the president of the United States, and he is very slow, very, very slow. That was President Trump making fun of him there. President Trump was in Iowa, and he must have seen Joe Biden on TV walking around with his mouth hanging up and his arms dangling at his sides, bumping into furniture, walking into door frames, holding little notes given to him by people that have the questions and the answers that are upcoming with the fake news media that is really just a front group for the Democrat Party and doesn't hold feet to the fire. Unless, of course, you're a Republican. Then they douse your feet in gasoline and torch your feet with a match. But that's a different thing altogether. And we've got Barack Obama's name in the news because Barack Obama has warned the Biden team that they have to do better or they're going to lose to Donald Trump. And that can't happen. That could be really bad. As Joe Biden reminded us on Friday, because Joe Biden gave a speech. They said it was his January 6th, Valley Forge, Pennsylvania speech. It was not given on January 6th, and it was not given in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. It was about 12 miles from Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, and they called it the Valley Forge speech. They called it the January 6th speech, and it was on January 5th because they were afraid that on January 6th, the Snowmageddon was going to come along, and we were all going to die from because the earth is on fire, and we're all going to die soon. And I've got a bunch of Joe Biden from that speech because he is dangerous. You see, he says that Trump wants all-out war. And then Joe Biden is headed today to South Carolina to go to that church where 9 African-American people were murdered by a psychopath. And he's going to try to say, the Republicans did this. It's Trump's fault. In fact, James Clyburn, you saw James Clyburn, says that, what was the word he used? That Trump is very closely related or something to the, Donald Trump is very closely related to this guy who murdered 9 people at a church. How, 9 years ago? Was it 9 years ago? What was Trump doing then? A TV show on NBC? Honestly. And James Clyburn, they like the party of the Klan and lynching black people from trees and still trying to lynch Clarence Thomas again. The Democrat Party, the party of Jefferson Davis and the Confederate States, they love calling everybody racist. And James Clyburn is accusing President Trump of somehow being involved or closely related to this nearly decade-old massacre at a church. And by the way, that psychopath first wanted to target the community college there, which is not a black church, but a local community college with people of all races. But when he went there, there were armed security people at the community college. So he decided not to go there because he thought he might get shot because he is a cowardly mass murderer. Then he went to a nearby church, which, for all we know, he didn't know was a black church, but that doesn't matter. The Democrats see an opportunity here, and they've seized on it, and they've been using it, they think, to great effect for many years now. And Joe Biden is going to continue to use it. He's going today, right, to South Carolina to give a speech at this church where 9 African-American people were murdered. They declared it to be a racist attack because the targets were black and the gunman was white. They completely ignore 9 people being shot to death on an average weekend in Chicago. Never mind that. That doesn't serve their political goals because that's as a result of Democrat Party policies. But moving that, and what it was, I pulled one up the other day, 11 people shot and killed in Chicago one weekend, 50 wounded, and that's not news. But here we are nearly a decade later, and Joe Biden's going to this church because, Black Lives Matter. And then they send more money to Planned Parenthood, which exterminates 40% of the black population in the womb in the United States. At least Planned Parenthood leads the way. They're on the pointy end of the spear, as it were, when it comes to that. So Joe Biden is looking to racially divide the country, racially polarize the country. The news media called James Clyburn out. James Clyburn played his role, accusing President Trump of somehow being involved with the murder of 9 people at an AME church, I believe 9 years ago, right? And haven't looked it up this weekend. And just amazing stuff. So we got, It's fair to tie Trump closely to 2015 Charleston church shooting. That's the radical left-wing extremists at Mediaite. Then they went looting. Then they went out looting in downtown Washington. Pretty amazing stuff. But this murderer, Dylan Roof, actually wanted to target a university, but felt that he couldn't get past security at the university. So the church was kind of a random second thought, afterthought. But Joe Biden will use it, and the Democrats and the media, but I repeat myself, will use it to try to racially polarize the country and to indict Republicans, the party of Abraham Lincoln. President Trump had a comment about Abraham Lincoln, too, saying the Civil War could have been avoided if that had just been negotiated properly. And he made a comment, President Trump did, saying, and if it had been negotiated and the war would have been avoided, then we wouldn't even know Abraham Lincoln's name, President Trump said in Iowa. And that's kind of fun. It's President Trump being President Trump. So we got that code. Also, a strategist at J.P. Morgan who predicts the future for them so they know how to invest their money. He says that Joe Biden will drop out of the presidential race after Super Tuesday and before the election in November, and he's going to claim health concerns. Now, I've been saying this for how long? And we have the audio of Joe Biden saying that, when the day comes, he's going to drop out and claim that he's got health issues. I've played the audio here many times. So the genius strategist at J.P. Morgan, maybe he listens to my radio show and he picked up on it here, as I've been talking about this, and I'm sure he's good at predicting stuff. They give him a lot of money to do that, so he's got to have some skill. But the fun the fun part of this is that he is now predicting a famous Wall Street predictor, and that Joe Biden is going to drop out and he's going to claim health concerns. I want to play that audio for you of Joe Biden today on the big radio broadcast, and also a bit of a rift apparently between Obama, who's really in charge, and Biden, who is a sock puppet and doesn't know what month it is because he's bumping into furniture all over the place like a jellyfish, and he doesn't know what the season is, I think, most of the time. Pretty amazing stuff. Yeah, and so the Democrats looking for all that. Also, we have updates on January 6th, since when you hear Joe Biden on Friday, making January 6th of 3 years ago now, the big issue. He gave a speech on January 5th, said it was in Valley Forge. It wasn't. And then everything he said in the speech was pretty much a lie, too. But at least he's tearing the country apart like the divider that he promised to be. Oh, wait, he promised to be a uniter. Never mind. It was just a campaign promise. Pay no attention to that. But the family of Ashley Babbitt, who was shot and killed, the only person actually shot and killed on January 6th, 3 years ago, the family of Ashley Babbitt has filed a lawsuit of $30 million. $30 million. Should have made it $100 million for wrongful death. It's a wrongful death action. And we just got word about the radio traffic coming from the U.S. Capitol Police radio traffic, coming from the officer that shot and killed Ashley Babbitt without warning. And he got on the two-way radio there. I think he was having a panic attack. I filled in the blanks here. And I believe that the police officer was freaking out and having a panic attack when he shot Ashley Babbitt and killed her without warning after she served 12 years in the Air Force because she was alleged to have committed trespassing, which is now a death penalty offense in Democrat Party America because they're not liberals, they're the left. But wait till you hear, I will share with you the radio transmissions that have just been uncovered 3 years later, and only because of a lawsuit. And I gotta tell you, wait till you hear what the police officer said as he shot Ashley Babbitt. He lied on the police radio and apparently tried to create a panic on Capitol Hill among police officers who had come guns blazing because he described a gunfight that was going on there and people shooting multiple rounds at him. And it was all a lie. He was lying on the radio. I think he might have been having a mental episode of some kind, a panic attack. Pretty remarkable stuff. And the news media loved it. The president's remarks on the third anniversary of the January 6th attacks. This is actually the White House website. Remarks by President on the third anniversary of the January 6th attack. It wasn't on the third anniversary, the January 6th attack. It was on January 5th. And defending the sacred cause of American democracy. It was actually in Bluebell, Pennsylvania, not in Valley Forge, but they pretended that he was in Valley Forge because they get to lie. They get to lie because the news media, you know how they are. They lie a lot, very comfortably. You know why? Because the Fourth Estate does not hold the Democrat county accountable. That's the Democrat Party accountable. Yes, sir. Also, the Democrats are tearing down the statue. This is quite amazing, of William Penn. You know, Pennsylvania is named for William Penn. He came here in the 1600s with religious refugees from England. And the founder of Pennsylvania, and the Biden administration is tearing down the statue of William Penn in Pennsylvania. They say it's rehabilitation. They're tearing down because they're the Taliban. They're the American Taliban. And they're tearing down our history because they're contemptuous of American history. And they are the Democrat Party. Yeah, tearing down the statue of William Penn. And because of Indians, Native Americans, that's why. And that makes sense. You couldn't possibly respect Native Americans if you don't tear down the statue of William Penn in Pennsylvania. The Democrat Party is not on our side. They're anti-American. They're un-American. Removing the William Penn statue in the name of inclusivity. That's what they're doing. I've got some, lies, damn lies, and statistics. One of the media tricks and the Democrat Party, but I repeat myself, on murder rates, because they change policy, more people get murdered, and then they lie about it. I'll explain that coming up. And the Secretary of Defense is apparently in an iron lung in a basement at Walter Reed, and he ditched out, went and had a medical procedure. He said it was some kind of a... No, it wasn't. I don't think it was. Do you think it was? And Secretary of Defense is still in the hospital, but he didn't tell anybody. He just disappeared for more than a week. So, yeah. Oh, did I fail to mention that I'm in intensive care, heavily sedated? No problem. We're at 888-630-9625.
Burns was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. He was then transferred to a better hospital where doctors upgraded his condition to alive.
Hey, it's Chris Plant, excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. Yeah, President Trump being attacked all over the place. He talked about dropping magnets in water, and magnets don't work if you drop them in water. And what we're talking about, I don't know, but okay. Why we were talking about that? But let's go to a telephone call and talk to the nice people. Let's go to Donna calling from Frederick, Maryland. Donna, you are on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. You're doing an excellent job, and the team there are just amazing. And what I call to say is if the left, not the liberals, but the left, was so inclusive, why don't they include Make America Great Again people, and even more so, the Q group, that conspiratorial, in quotes, group that they're so fearful of? It's really an amazing time to be alive.
Well, inclusivity has its limits, and it's limited to radical left-wing, anti-American racist groups that comprise the Democrat Party. I think you're aware of that. And why wouldn't they include MAGA? Well, Joe Biden attacked all MAGA people on Friday as a threat to democracy and talked about war, talked about all-out war, Joe Biden did. He's the new Jefferson Davis of the Democrat Party. In fact, Donna, I've got that for you coming up, Joe Biden's Friday speech. You see, in Yonkers, New York, it's an actual place. They called it Yonkers. Say, hey, let's call it Yonkers. And everybody at the table said, yeah, that sounds good. Yonkers. Everybody's going to want to live in Yonkers. Yonkers, New York High School boots girls basketball coach, player, after anti-Semitic slurs during game. Why would that be a punishable offense? That's mainstream Democrat Party thought. It's what they teach in schools now. Yonkers canned a high school girls basketball coach and booted a player off the team after an ugly anti-Semitic incident at a recent game against a Jewish high school. They have a Jewish high school. City officials said on Sunday the Thursday night game between Leffel School, a private Jewish school in Hartsdale, and Roosevelt High School, a public school in Yonkers, ended early. The game ended early on Thursday night after some kids from Roosevelt, a largely African-American school, shot anti-Semitic slurs, as long as that's all that was shot, at their opponents, including one who allegedly yelled, "I support Hamas, you beeping Jew." See, it's the F word, and that's perfectly ordinary behavior for Democrats now. Security guards had to escort Leffel School players off the court, the Jewish school, following the hostile contest. On Sunday, Yonkers Public Schools interim superintendent Dr. Luis Rodriguez and city mayor Mike Spano issued a joint statement denouncing the hatred and apologizing for the vitriol the visiting team faced. Why would that? Is that going to be a problem of some kind? I don't understand. The Yonkers Public School, along with the city of Yonkers, sincerely apologized to the students, and they'd like to apologize, and they're very sincere about it, you should know. Collectively, they always think collectively because they're commies. We do not and will not tolerate hate speech of any kind from our students and community. Sure, you can expect it, but you won't tolerate it. The only thing not to be tolerated is intolerance. That's one of those left-wing brain twisters. The anti-Semitic rhetoric reportedly made against the student athletes of the Leffel School are abhorrent, inappropriate, and not in line with the values we set forth for our young people. Now, I think that they actually are in line with the values that you set forth with your young people, hence this episode, you see. By the way, it was the girls basketball teams competing here, and it looks like a racial incident, an anti-Semitic incident, a racial incident, and a Democrat violence. Remember when silence is violence with lefties, and your language is violence. Words are violence, sticks and stones. They never mind that. But the girls team, I support Hamas, you beeping Jew, yelling at the, hey, this is not such a friendly high school football or basketball game. And then you realize, oh, wait, they're all Democrats. Now it all makes sense because this is what they teach. Yeah, amazing stuff. Theodore Roosevelt High School, public school. It's in Yonkers and Yonkers. It's actually called Yonkers. I'm telling you, just crazy. No one should be subject to abuse and hate on the grounds of any school district, New York State, because of their religion. You think? Yeah. As history has taught us, silence from good people, particularly silence from leaders, can lead to horrendous consequences. I think all that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. Is that what you're trying to conjure up here? That's the school administrator. Never mind that. All right, let's go to Joe Biden. That's the Democrats. They love racism and anti-Semitism, and they love Hamas. They love radical Islamic terror because they all want to murder everybody, as the left, the international left. And now let's go to Joe Biden. He, on Friday, gave his January 6th Valley Forge speech on January 5th in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania, and not Valley Forge. But when you're a Democrat, that's okay, all right? You can remember December 7th on December 6th. You can just go to Los Angeles instead of Pearl Harbor as long as there's water back there. It's like Chinese-level propaganda. Let's go to Joe Biden on Friday from Blue Bell, Pennsylvania, not Valley Forge, on Friday, January 5th, not January 6th, where Joe Biden gave what has been dubbed the hate speech. This is, his whole speech is called the hate speech. It will go down in history as the hate speech because it's so filled with hate and vitriol for his fellow Americans. Remember, he was going to be the uniter. Here's Joe Biden on Friday, not at Valley Forge, not on January 6th.
Trump's assault on democracy isn't just part of his past.
It's assault on democracy.
That's what he's promising for the future.
Promising.
He's being straightforward.
He's being straightforward.
He's not hiding the ball.
He's not hiding the ball.
His first rally for the 2024 campaign opened with a choir of January 6th insurrectionists singing from prison.
Singing from prison.
On a cell phone.
On a cell phone.
While images of the January 6th riot played on a big screen behind him at his rally.
Uh-huh.
Can you believe that?
Can you believe that? You know
this is like something out of a fairy tale.
Yep, fairy tale.
Bad fairy tale.
That are there bad fairy tales? Because I remember the last time he told us about a fairy tale. You remember what it was? I remember what it was. It was something out of a fairy tale. Let me see, the assault on democracy, and he's attacking everybody. And he talks about the people singing from prison. You know what he left out? You know what they were singing on the cell phone from prison in Washington, D.C., from jail in Washington? They were singing the national anthem. He left that out. Many of them served in the military, in combat, in Iraq, in Afghanistan. And Joe Biden, yeah, can you believe that? Yeah, he left out, again, the most insidious power the media and the left have is the power to ignore. Yeah, these guys that are in jail, with no lawyers, no representation, no bail, third world style incarceration, they got on a cell phone and they sang the national anthem, the U.S. national anthem. The Democrats might know the North Korean national anthem or something, but they don't like our national anthem very much at all. And Trump's assault on democracy isn't the past, it's the future. He's not hiding the ball. And open his rally January 6th with a choir singing from prison. Yeah, for mostly, I think, trespassing, and they were singing the American national anthem. Joe Biden, this is great. He's the one defending American values here, not you.
Trump began his 2024 campaign by glorifying the failed violent insurrection on our Capitol.
No, he didn't.
The guy who claims law and order sows lawlessness and disorder.
He sows lawlessness.
Trump's not concerned about your future, I promise you.
I promise you.
Trump is now promising a full-scale campaign of revenge and retribution, his words.
His words, he promised.
For some years to come.
For some years to come, he promised a full-scale campaign of revenge and retribution, and that's, I don't think that's actually what he's promised, is it? No, and then he whipped out the dictator thing, too. Remember, who was it? Sean Hannity that asked him the dictator question, and he said, yeah, I'm going to be a dictator. On day one, I'm going to build a wall. And what was the other thing he was going to do? Something strong economy really is. Drill. Oh yeah, drill. Yeah, drill for all. That's his dictatorial wish to secure our border and to have energy independence. But pay no attention to that. Joe Biden demonizing the whole country. At least everybody that didn't vote for him.
You can't have a contest. If you see politics as an all-out war instead of a peaceful way to resolve our differences. All-out war is what Trump wants.
Yeah, because, he knows it's wait a minute, all-out war is what Trump wants? We have the end of that because this is the, again, Democrat Party, the party of the American Civil War, the first Civil War as it's now known. And Joe Biden says that what Donald Trump wants is what?
All-out war is what Trump wants.
All-out war is what Trump wants. All-out war is what Trump wants. You can't have a contest where you see politics as all-out war instead of a peaceful way to resolve differences. Well, then stop rioting in all of our cities and stop looting and stop shooting the police and stop burning police cars and stop the crime and stop the carjacking and secure the borders so we don't have 100,000 fatal drug overdoses every year. And it's Joe Biden standing up for our values. He's not going to walk away.
I promise you, I will not let Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans force us to walk away now.
And the MAGA Republicans. See, he's not. They like to say, "Oh, he's an." I was debating this with the leftists on Friday, and they said, "Well, he's just attacking President Trump." No, he's attacking MAGA Republicans, which I guess he thinks is 80 million voters, 75 million voters, whatever the number is, and he's attacking all MAGA Republicans, tens of millions of Americans, so many of whom have served in the U.S. military and didn't get kicked out because of repeated cocaine offenses. Like his crooked, crackhead, stripper, knocker-upper, Russian hooker Dayton son, Hunter Biden, with all of his international business deals for which he provided no services and no goods. But pay no attention to that. And Joe Biden, more racial division.
We're living in an era where a determined minority is doing everything in its power to try to destroy our democracy for their own agenda.
Destroy our democracy.
The American people know it.
The American people know it.
And they're standing bravely in the breach.
Bravely in the breach. So once more into the breach. Again, this is what we call martial language. This is the language of warfare. And he used the word, Trump wants all-out war. And once more into the breach, to the ramparts. And January 6th is the day where Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed while unarmed and may have trespassed.
January 6th insurrection to undo the election.
Insurrection.
In which more Americans had voted than any other in American history. America saw the threat posed to the country, and they voted him out.
Some of what he's saying can't be understood because he's slurring a speech, because his brain, she's a no good anymore. And it's and I love this one too, your Democrats. Yeah, Donald Trump says that he won the election. He's got to go to prison.
Trump says he doesn't understand. Well, he still doesn't understand the basic truth. That is, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your country only when you win.
They all clap. They don't love their country. Joe Biden loves groping women and stealing money from overseas and building houses on the water and being, given a tongue bath every day by the news media. Now, you can't only when you win. Well, wait a minute. I remember Hillary Clinton after she lost to Donald Trump.
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
Yay! They love the election stolen from you part best. That's the part they actually really cheered for. Yes, you can steal the election. You may remember the DNC chair, Democratic National Committee chair, and then the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Terry McAwful, as his wife calls him, that the 2000 election was stolen.
If Catherine Harris, Jeb Bush, Jim Baker, and the Supreme Court hadn't tampered with the results, Al Gore would be president.
That's right. The 2000 election was stolen. And let's not forget the 2004 election was stolen, the DNC chair said.
We actually won the last presidential election, folks. They stole the last presidential election.
And the crowd goes wild, and then they overturned police cars, set them on fire, looted some stores, put them out of business, probably shot a few people because they're the left. And now, wait a minute, see, Joe Biden attacking President Trump like that. And see, you can't say that. But Hillary can say it about 2016, and Terry McAwful can say it about 2000 and 2004. Then they won 2008 and 2012, so the Democrats didn't contest those. They lost 2016, and Hillary Clinton contested 2016, says it was stolen. And they use the word stolen quite freely and liberally, if you will. Isn't that amazing? So when they say, and they have contested every election in the 21st century presidential election that they've lost, then, of course, who's the governor of Georgia again? Joe Biden on Friday. We got the Hitler comparison coming.
He calls those who oppose him vermin.
Vermin, he calls those who, as opposed to deplorables and extremists and Joe Biden.
He talks about the blood of America as being poisoned, echoing the same exact language.
Same exact language.
Used in Nazi Germany.
It's not the same exact language, but it doesn't really matter to them because truth is not their bag, baby, if you know what I mean. And I know that you do. I got more Joe Biden coming up from his the hate speech that he delivered on Friday, not at Valley Forge, though they said it was at Valley Forge. Not on January 6th, though they said it was his January 6th speech. If they tell you it's his January 6th speech at Valley Forge, and it's neither on January 6th or at Valley Forge, you probably shouldn't take what is said in the speech as ground truth either. If you make the lie big enough, no one will dare not believe it. This is the left. They're not liberals. More Joe Biden from his hate speech in Bluebell, Pennsylvania on January 5th coming up.
All-out war is what Trump wants.
Let's go. The Democrats, they love the lie. They embrace the lie. They love the word embrace, too. Now, Joe Biden spent Friday demonizing Donald Trump and all MAGA voting Republicans. And then the media lies and they say, he's just talking about Trump. when he's talking about all the MAGA Republicans. Oh, he's just talking about Trump because the media lies very freely for the Democrat Party. Joe Biden on Friday in Bluebell, Pennsylvania.
He proudly posts on social media the words that best describe his 2024 campaign. Quote, revenge, quote, power, and quote, dictatorship.
Yeah, notice how he has them all separately in separate quotation marks because he used the word power. Wait a minute, he used the word power? He used the word dictatorship because you guys talked about dictatorship, and I mean the news media. That's just extraordinary stuff. And power and dictatorship and revenge. And that's what Trump's all about. He's defining Trump by way of that. Joe Biden, it's the demonization of everyone and talk of all-out war in the United States, which sounds a lot like civil war coming from the current Democrat president. You know, the last time the Democrat president was the head of the Confederacy.
There's no confusion about who Trump is, what he intends to do.
You're confused about everything. Don't be ridiculous. And those MAGA people are the real threat to democracy.
Trump and his MAGA followers, Donald Trump and his MAGA followers, Trump and his MAGA supporters not only embrace political violence, but they laugh about it. And now these MAGA voices, I will not let Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans force us to walk away now.
Yeah, Joe Biden is going to save the world from the world and America from the Republicans who serve in the military and as police officers and raise normal, healthy children and mow their lawns and raise their flags and they're normal people. It did sound. Then there's the war. It's Donald Trump wants all-out war. It's the
all-out war is what Trump wants.
That's right. All-out war is what Trump wants, according to Joe Biden. Keeping in mind that Democrat president in the Confederacy for the Civil War, then Democrat president got us into World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. And they're the ones that riot everywhere and loot and burn. But never mind that.